Hello and welcome to Batcast 66, the podcast where we watch every single episode of the Batman television series, you know, the one from 1966. My name's Kendall and I'm eating a bowl of ice cream.
I'm Scott and I'm petting a dog.
And today we're here to talk about Batman episode 4, The Penguin's a Jinx.
Yep. The second half of the episode of the two-parter last episode was Fine Feathered Finks, which we failed to point out last episode is Penguin does say that to his goons a couple times. That's what he calls them, which is exciting.
Yeah. How'd that episode end?
Bruce Wayne, or Batman in the guise of Bruce Wayne, tried to bug the Penguin's umbrella factory so he can learn what his scheme is, but was foiled and captured and put on a conveyor belt into a furnace. And that's where we left off. And that's where we're going to pick up.
Well, before we do that,
yeah.
I want to interject with something you said.
What's that?
So in most interpretations of Batman, I would agree with the way you worded it as far as Batman in the guise of Bruce Wayne. I don't think that's true in this version. I think he's very happy to just be Bruce Wayne until he gets the call on the bat phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this Batman's very reactive, not less proactive. Like he's not out patrolling and like looking for crime. Do you know what I mean? He only kind of waits for the bat phone to ring.
Yeah. You know, just your wording of that just got the gears turning in my brain.
Yeah.
But anyway, where do we open in this episode? The Bat Cave?
No, I think doesn't it start with the Penguin watching him on his own CCTV?
Yeah, I think it keeps cutting back and forth between the two.
Between him and Robin. Well, I wrote down that the Penguin has better CCTVs than the state because his are in color rather than black and white.
I think that kind of holds up.
I mean, obviously, we established last episode he must be super duper wealthy to have all of these gadgets and factories and stuff.
Yeah, or he just takes out a lot.
Oh yeah, or alone. Yeah, so you got like good TVs and stuff too. So anyway, Batman comes to because of the heat from his being knocked out, and oh no, how do I get out of this? But yeah, we do cut back to Robin being like, Batman should have got back by now. We haven't heard anything from the bug.
And Alfred kind of suggests that solar flares are interfering with the radio waves.
I think that's a very 60s comic booky gobbledygook kind of thing.
And also like very similar to a lot of the wild conclusions Batman and Robin themselves come to.
I guess they learned it from Alfred. But we know Alfred's wrong, and more often than not, Batman and Robin are right.
That's true. That's true. The way Bruce gets out of this one is wild.
It makes me so upset because the whole time I'm like, just roll off. Just roll off the conveyor belt.
No one ever rolls off the conveyor belt.
Yeah, he pulls out a lighter and his goons are like, what's he going to do? Smoke a cigarette? But Penguin's upset because he's like, that's the same kind I use. And it's full of like a lifetime supply of butane or something.
A lifetime supply of butane in
one little lighter.
Lighter.
But yeah, he throws it into the furnace so like it explodes and that lets him roll off the conveyor belt.
Yeah, I guess
his shoes are like smoking, like he's like on fire almost.
That's the kind of danger you face as an ace crime fighter.
Yeah. So he gets away, and then the goons are like, well, we should get him. And Penguin's like, well, still thinking he's like a rival umbrella manufacturer. It's like, well, we scared him off. Let him go.
Yeah, and
I got bigger fish to fry. Like,
so last episode you were like, oh, it's weird that they don't recognize Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And they kind of touch on it here. Like Penguin's like, this guy just looks so familiar. I don't know why.
But I assume that that's more of a reference to like him being Batman rather than Bruce Wayne.
Oh, you could be right about yeah. Okay.
But it's especially weird because like later Penguin mentions like Wayne Manor. It's like he's aware of who these people are.
Well, there are plenty of rich people who I know by name and not by face.
True. But like if Mark Zuckerberg rolled up to where you worked, you would know who he is.
Well, he's like an alien dude, though.
Yeah, he does look like Data.
So Robin is freaking out. And he's like, I'm going to give him 2 minutes and then I'm going out and looking for him.
Or I think he was going to call the police and then do that. Ralphard's like, that's a good idea. But then Bruce comes down the pole as Batman. And he looks all like messed up, like his Batman outfit does. But like he does mention to Alfred, like my clothes are upstairs, and they got all smokified from that. But I this is something I noticed in this part is when he comes down the pole, I didn't realize that those things at the bottom were pads, which makes sense because you're sliding down a thing. Because I know they can go up, and that's how they go back to being Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson. So I always assumed they were just like lifting platforms. I didn't realize they were like soft. You know what I mean?
Probably more for the sake of the
Like,
actors than
oh, of course, yes.
any sort of like.
Because they did slide down the pole, like to, and then like run into the scene.
So Robin mentioned the time because for whatever reason, the mysterious, totally normal umbrella, or what's it called? The
They
Batbrella?
call it the Batbrella, like that. The Batman Rabbit call it that, and so does the Penguin.
Ridiculous. Anyway, at 6 o'clock, it has a bug of its
Yeah.
own, which
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne got in trouble last episode for trying to plant a bug on the Penguin. For whatever reason, this bug wasn't just constantly going. I guess that's how they got it, how the bug got past all the tests they were doing on
I
it.
guess, yeah. It seemed kind of arbitrary, and like that Penguin could have missed out on a bunch of stuff for his plan.
Yeah, for real. But hey, he gets what he wants here.
So this is where his no plan kind of makes some level of sense because he kind of starts explaining it to his goons now.
Yeah, so Batman and Robin are trying to figure out what this guy's up to.
And so yeah, so Penguin's listening to it, and they're trying to figure out what kind of thing that the umbrella is pointing to. So like the first thing is like there's a bunch of colors, so it must be like a bunch of jewels. And they're like, oh yeah, there's this like exhibit at the museum. Like, here's what he could be looking for, and here's the security and all the stuff and how he could get past that.
So about that exhibit, this two-parter is based off of a 1965 Batman story. The exhibit that they mention contains a jeweled meteorite, and in the comic book version, that is what Penguin ends up going after.
Okay.
But in this, they write it out because there's way too much security, and
Yeah.
even without Batman and Robin being there, there's no way the Penguin.
And from a practical standpoint, I think what they go with is cheaper to film.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's the reason why.
Yeah, I mean they did make like a big mammoth the last episode, but that's got to be easier to do than like a whole like this whole thing. Well, we'll get into what they end up doing. Oh, what was her first name? I know her last name is Robbins. There's like a movie actress.
Well, so Robin's looking at this umbrella and he's like, this umbrella is so beautiful, like a beautiful dawn.
Oh, yeah, Dawn Robbins, yeah.
And Batman's like, oh, God, that's it. Dawn Robbins, the movie actress.
She works for a guy named Mr. Eagle, and she's at like the Pelican Hotel. Like it's all perfect.
Yeah.
It's all
and the movie,
it's perfect. Yeah.
The movie they're filming is The Mockingbird.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm sure fucking Penguin's just blowing a load in his lair.
Yeah, he got really excited hearing all this stuff. He's like, "Oh, it's all perfect. It's coming together." And Batman's like, "It's like the perfect scheme. He could like zip line from across the street here and do this and that." And Penguin's writing this stuff down. And I'm like, so your plan still doesn't make any sense because Batman and Robin know exactly how you're going to be doing this then. But the joke was on me. Penguin did account for that stuff.
Yeah, don't underestimate the Penguin.
No, I learned not to.
So, I forget what Batman says. Oh, he'll probably get a grappling hook from his criminal storeroom.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to them and they go to a closet labeled criminal storeroom.
I know. It's so great.
Oh, God. This show.
It makes me so incredible. Happy. Yeah. So then we cut to the like hotel room with Dawn Robbins, and she's like modeling for Fun Boy magazine instead of obviously Playboy, but she's obviously in full clothes because it's a TV show. Yeah. And my only thought at the time when watching this is that this is another excuse for like a 1960s babe to be in it, which is a common thing with shows at the time. Like Star Trek's worse than Batman in that regard.
Yeah. What's your impression on Dawn?
Yeah, she's really a nothing character.
Well, when you first meet her, she's just like, oh God, It's
Yeah.
so hard being rich and
And
famous.
beautiful and yeah.
And it's like, I hate you.
Yeah, she's like, it's like being in a prison. I'm like, yeah, I get it.
At that point, I personally didn't care what happened to Dawn Robbins, but
Yeah.
I guess Batman still does.
Yeah. So they do they climb up with the bat rope, and like I'm watching it on Blu-ray, so I've noticed like a lot more of the effects work and the wire work. And I could definitely see all of the stuff holding their capes up.
Yeah.
I don't know, because you're watching on DVD, I'm watching on Blu-ray. I don't know how obvious that was to you.
No, yeah, the capes are very obvious.
Yeah. Say Penguin's like all of his little birds that talk and stuff. You can see like the rubber bands and the beaks and the strings pulling them down, like the rubber bands snap it back. Like it's fine. It adds to a lot of the charm. Like I can like on the Blu-ray, you can see where like the makeup for Burgess Meredith's like nose like begins and ends. But at the time, you wouldn't have noticed any of this stuff because you'd be
Yeah.
on like old 60s blurry, like small TVs. I will say one of my favorite bits in the show is every time Batman and Robin enter a room, they do like this like dramatic like little jump. And they do that like towards camera in this. I'm like, oh, it's so awesome.
Yeah, there's like a promotional photo of Batman jumping from this show, and
Mhm.
he kind of does the same movement in this scene.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it a lot.
I guess it's not as noticeable on the Riddler's costume.
Mhm.
It's so silly that the Penguin puts on like a domino mask
I
here.
know.
Sorry, dude, you're the only one that looks like that.
Well, that's part of what makes it great. Like I love that too. Like I know we talk about the movie every once in a while, but like there's a scene where like the Joker, the Penguin, Catwoman, and Riddler are all wearing domino masks and flying around on giant umbrellas. It's like they're so not conspicuous to begin with.
Yeah, it's so
I
ridiculous.
want someone to be like, "Who is that masked man?" You know?
So Batman and Robin are like, Miss Robbins, we have to protect you. And I thought it was kind of odd that she had no idea who they were. Like they made it clear she didn't live in Gotham City.
Yeah, they're like, "Yeah, you're not from Gotham City. You don't know our masked crime fighters, Batman and Robin."
So I feel like that can be read two ways.
Yeah,
My first thought is like nobody pays attention to Gotham City for whatever reason.
hmm
Because I feel like Batman and Robin would be like world famous.
and a lot of times they are. And like, no, so that doesn't make any sense. Everyone would always pay attention to Gotham City because there's like a supervillain attack every week. There would be lots of news, and like there would be news that like, oh, we have a deputized like super crime fighter, like Man of Mystery.
You
You
would
know?
think so. But on the flip side to that, maybe like super crime isn't, specifically coming out of Gotham and like me and you both know that this show eventually like crosses over with like Green Hornet or whatever. Like,
Yeah,
is it just implying that every major city has like,
I guess because like if you take the Batman 66 comics from like the 2010s as canon, like Superman and Wonder Woman and like all of those characters like also exist.
yeah.
Like the Man from Uncle, like the 60s Avengers, the Steve and Mrs. Peel Avengers, and Archie, all of these things exist. It's amazing. I love it so much.
You'd think all the celebrities would be chomping at the bit to hang out with Batman.
Yeah, and I gotta imagine they might like try to make a Batman like inspired like movie. Like for example, like we're getting off the rails a little bit, but like this is a piece of world building I really like from the newest season of Harley Quinn, is that they're making like a biopic about Thomas Wayne's death, and like Clayface, since he's an actor, is like plays Thomas Wayne in it. He plays Billy Bob Thornton as Thomas Wayne because he shapeshifts.
Amazing.
They're like, yeah, that would happen, and like Batman brings up all this trauma for Batman. Like the Harley Quinn show plays with the Batman universe in a fun way. Very different from this one, but you know what I mean? Like I would imagine like some sleazy Hollywood guy would probably like, they were always sleazy Hollywood guys, you know.
Yeah.
They
I
were
don't
more
know.
unchecked than ever 60 years ago.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
I mean, I'm sure it's just a throwaway line.
I know that it is.
Mostly to just set up the bit at the end.
We're
like at
reading
the
into this
very end.
way too
But
much.
I was just
Yeah.
like, I wonder what that like says about this like world they live in.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about.
Yeah. So Batman and Robin are there to protect Dawn Robbins, but the Penguin is also ready with a scheme of his own. They fire a grappling hook from across the street, a neighboring high rise, and they zip line over.
Like a penguin.
Yeah, like a penguin would. And yeah, he just like walks right into the apartment, which it's got to be. I mean, I know they were expecting it, but like,
Yeah.
if you don't know anything about these people and they're just
Yeah.
like coming into your apartment through the window,
The penguin would freak me out.
yeah, it's just like, whoa, what's up with you, buddy?
Because he doesn't really walk, he like waddles around, like
Yeah.
all of a sudden this guy's just there. It's like, oh my God. He's got a domino mask. I don't even know who he is.
He's smoking a cigarette,
Yeah.
waddling around.
Yeah, he's like quacking.
Was he quacking in this?
Yeah, he was going wow, wow, wow.
Okay.
Not all the time, but like,
Yeah,
it's like
I mean,
it's
I
like
just
that,
remember
you
in
know
the
what I mean?
movie, he's like quacking so hard, and
Yeah.
it's
think
a
that
little more subdued here.
I think everyone got a little flanderized over a while.
But Batman and Robin spring out and they're like, we knew you were coming here. We figured out your plan.
And they're wearing like respirators, so like you can't, because he's using his like knockout gas. And like I like that they're labeled like oxygen and stuff. Yeah, this is where I was like, all right, so what is Penguin's plan? Because it's like he knows Batman and Robin are there waiting for him.
That's all he needed to know, because he has a super magnet that attracts the metallic objects in their utility belts and makes them stick to the wall.
But nothing else that was magnetic in the room, including his umbrella.
Yeah, very specific.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin are helpless, and instead of, I don't know, killing them or something, he just...
Well, because I think the plan would be that Batman would keep coming up with like trying to figure out what the Penguin's next plan is and keep giving him plans. So him killing him wouldn't make all that much sense right then and there. I think that's what Penguin's plan is.
His first plan falls apart though.
Yeah.
Because he kept them alive. But I mean, it's not that kind of show.
Well, his plan falls apart because he said something too specific in the scene, which I don't remember what it was. But like it's referenced later that he said something that Batman said specifically.
Yes.
But no, he gets away with Dawn Robbins. He kidnaps him and is successfully like ransoming her. And the exchange is supposed to happen in Wayne Manor as a neutral place.
Do you recall how much money he was getting for her?
I don't remember. Was it like $200,000?
Yeah, some amount that just seems so insignificant in 2022.
Well, to put inflation in perspective, Batman's considered a billionaire now. He's just a millionaire in this show.
How about that?
Yeah, can you imagine?
If we could just drop back for a second, we get two holies from Robin.
I do have, we missed pointing them out as they happen, but I did make note of them.
Yeah.
So in this scene, it's Holy Lodestone and Holy Flypaper when they get stuck to the wall.
So yeah, they want the ransom exchange to go down in Wayne Manor, I guess, so they don't have to pay for another set.
Oh yeah, of course. But
Yeah.
it's funny because like they're at police headquarters and Batman and Robin are there, and like the police are talking like getting the ransom thing, and because they have the money together there, and they're like, "Oh, do you think Bruce Wayne will go for it?" And Batman's like, maybe. I gotta go."
Well, it's so funny when they bring up Wayne Manor, like Robin, like obviously looks at Batman and like nudges him with his elbow as if Batman wouldn't know that's where
he lives. Yeah.
But yeah, Commissioner Gordon already called ahead and I guess didn't recognize Alfred as the same man he talks to when he calls Batman.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, he says that Bruce and Dick are out fishing.
Which is always their excuse.
We cut to Wayne Manor.
Oh no! I guess before that, Batman comes up with the scheme, and he mentions it in there. He mentions it then that I remember seeing from like publicity photos or something that there's two antique sets of armor. Robin and I will hide in that and then surprise the Penguin and catch him. Because the Batbrella's there because a Penguin hears it.
Yeah, they brought the Batbrella along.
Yeah. So it's there. Batman and Robin are in the statues, and Penguin shows up. He knocks out Alfred with his knockout gas. He drops off him and Dawn, like kind of leaned against each other on like a bench in the foyer. Knocks out Batman and Robin. Like he checks to see that they're in there after knocking them out. And he takes the money and like leaves.
And now we get the best scene.
Yeah.
So Aunt Harriet comes walking down the stairs.
I guess they didn't tell her that this was going to be a thing going on.
Yeah, which is like,
it's like leave the house while there's a super criminal in it.
Yeah, and like I get it. Like the running bit with her seems to be like, oh, she can't know anything.
She's so clueless about all of the shenanigans that they get.
And if she ever found out, she would just.
It's like the Aunt May thing, like, oh, her heart would explode and she would be dead.
So she comes down and she sees Dawn Robbins and Alfred passed out next to each other. She's like, oh,
yeah.
Alfred.
What are you doing? I don't understand the point of Aunt Harriet, like what she brings to things. Like Dick's Aunt Harriet, like just lives there. So he's like not an orphan. Like, I don't get it. Like it makes it all the weirder that Batman kind of like, I know he's called his ward and not like his adopted son, but like it's strange.
She definitely like gunks up the works like that, but
yeah.
I thought this was funny. I'm glad she was there.
Okay.
I hope they use her for more funny bits in the future.
Oh, you know what I just realized? Because like on my notes here, like I wrote penguins don't live in Alaska because not Joker. Oh my God. The Penguin says he's going to like take the loot and go to his hideout in Alaska, which isn't where penguins live, but it's cold because penguin. So yeah, to bring your point, like, yeah, he should have killed Batman and Robin because he wasn't going to use them for more schemes.
Should have just killed them.
Yeah.
I understand it.
Well, this is where that comes back and bites him now.
Yeah, it comes back and bites him in the penguin.
In the tail feathers.
Yeah, dang, that's it. That's the joke.
I mean, I could have said cloaca, but that's a million times more disgusting.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, and I'm good. So
yeah.
The penguin, yeah, they're back at the hideout. They're like, all right, we're going to divide up the loot, go our separate ways, see you all around. But Batman and Robin pop out. They've been there the whole time.
Yeah.
How did they do it?
Well, it says that, Penguin, they were onto him because he said something that too specific to what Batman said while he was that. And then they put mannequins dressed as Batman and Robin inside the suits of armor.
Yep. Good thing they figured he would use the knockout gas and not just a gun or something.
Or just put a bomb in the building.
Yeah. Another reason maybe they should have alerted Aunt Harriet, but whatever. Yeah. We get a pretty cool fight scene here. And by cool, I mean super silly.
Yeah. Well, I like that this one, it's a smaller set than the Riddler one. So like it feels more like contained and like not as like wild and chaotic, which has its own sets of charms. But yeah, do you want your onomatopoeia sound effect breakdown?
Well, before that, I want to describe how the fight starts. Batman and Robin both grab umbrellas.
Oh, yeah.
And they're using them like swords to duel the Penguin.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But the Penguin is just too good with an umbrella.
Well, he studied the sword. He studied the umbrella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ancient ways of the umbrella blade.
Well, you were going to bat school. I studied the parasol.
Yeah. and like they're dueling and he's like forces their umbrellas to like open and then they like float away.
Yeah.
Oh, good. It's so good. Yeah. And then after that, it becomes just a traditional brawl. I'll go into the ending of the fight after your onomatopoeia.
So this one doesn't have nearly as much as was in the Riddler one. Again, because I think there's like less dudes and it's a little bit more focused. We get a pow, an oof with 3 O's, a crunch with a K, a bam, a zlunk, and a clunk with a C. So I'll keep a running tally, but I know we've reused some of these from last time.
I'm just real into the classic bam. I don't know why that's my favorite.
Just got one so far. A lot of their sound effects are so weird. Like, what the hell is zlunk?
It sounds like you've just never been into a fight.
Guess not, but I understand like pow, bam, oof, like, you know what I mean?
Did you notice how the fight ended though?
How'd the fight end?
this is another reason why I was like, maybe this two-parter, this and something that happens later is like, maybe this is meant to be the first story. The fight ends with Batman and Robin shaking hands.
Oh yeah, like in the opening. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, I just thought that was really, really cool.
I did like that.
Batman and Robin won the fight. Robin barely participated, mostly just sitting on the sidelines cheering.
Yeah, and it was Batman versus Penguin and a bunch of goons.
It was a lot of fun.
Penguin's put on ice.
And yeah, they throw a party to celebrate at Wayne Manor.
Is it to celebrate that specifically, or is it just because they throw parties?
I think it's just because they throw parties.
Yeah.
He's a full
Harriet's stopping Robin from eating too much because he'll have nightmares.
Oh, he just had so much shrimp salad. Harriet once again calls Alfred out.
Yeah.
For him nuzzling up with Dawn.
Famous movie stars, yeah.
Speaking of Dawn, well, no, before we get Dawn,
yeah,
the commissioner is just talking about the origin of the Batman costume.
Yeah, which is pretty interesting because it's set up with like someone's asking Bruce Wayne about the story because it was involved. Wayne Manor was involved. He's like, well, we weren't here, we were fishing. You should talk to Commissioner Gordon over there if you want the details. And it cut to him, and he's kind of telling people about like the idea of Batman, essentially, and why he's Batman.
Yeah, and like I know it's just another one of those like random lines,
But like it's kind of inspired by like the superstitious and cowardly Lot thing from the comics, I guess, where it's like, that's the thing that would like scare the criminal psyche so much. But like this version of Batman's not like, his costume's not scary, you know what I mean? Like he's not going for the fear intimidation route.
He says that the criminal mind is afraid of nothing more than the shadow of a giant bat.
Yeah.
Which I just thought was
maybe I don't have a criminal mind, but like I don't get that.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
Also, it was a different time,
Also, I mean, being a Batman's pretty cool, so in general. So like I
hear that. So in walks Dawn, and
she's like listless and not responding to anybody.
Yeah, her manager introduces her to Bruce Wayne. She doesn't care. She just walks over to the fireplace and stares at the wall.
She's like looking in the middle distance.
And the manager says, Batman has stolen her heart. She only met him once, but she's in love with him.
Like women do when they meet a man.
Yeah, that's how the episode ends.
I'm like, yeah, it's so sad. So overall, what did you think of the Penguin, our introduction to the Penguin here?
I thought it was pretty goofy.
In a good way, though, right?
It was a lot of fun.
I loved it.
It does a lot of things better than the previous episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't know if I like the set pieces a lot better in the previous episode.
Really? Okay. I mean, it was fun trying to solve the riddles and stuff.
Yes.
But not outside of that, like, I don't know. Like, I know they're the same length, but like the Penguin ones seem to be paced a lot better. Like, it didn't feel like it was dragging or anything.
Yeah,
like it felt a lot snappier than the Riddler one.
Yeah. I mean, these episodes both felt like they flew by.
Yeah.
And
I mean, again, a bird thing, Oh,
there you go.
Yeah. I don't know. I really liked it. This more than the two-part Riddler stuff kind of was like, made me like, not that I thought I disliked those, but this made me more like jazzed to see more episodes for this. Do you know what I mean?
I hear that.
So what would you rate the Riddler or not? Oh my God. What would you rate the Penguin in this?
Yeah, I'm trying to think about that. I liked his plan.
I think I'd go with a 3 because he did stump Batman for a while. And if he just kept his mouth a little bit more shut, or, I don't think Batman would have caught him.
Yeah.
Because I think he brought the Batbrella specifically for that meeting so he could set up the Penguin like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Like no matter where it was, he'd be like, well, we'll hide in this disguise here. And then that'll trick the Penguin into thinking he took care of them and then move on.
Yeah. I mean, so you're thinking a 3 for the Penguin? I could go for that.
I'm thinking 3. I'm not just saying that because I like the Penguin. I'm not trying to. I think more objectively, because comparing it to the Riddler, I think this was a better plan. It better stumped Batman, because like his riddles never slow him down.
Yeah, they just like were tearing through those riddles.
Yeah. And that's part of the point of some of those is like, well, I need them to know where I am or like where certain things are going to be. But yeah, I'm giving them a 3 because we're
All
on
right.
a scale of 1 to 3. I'm sure we'll eventually get some ones. But yeah, so to update everybody between the Fine Feathered Fink and the Penguins of Jinx, we got Holy Haberdashery when Robin saw Penguin in his costume in jail. Holy Popcorn when they talked about the movie. Holy Lodestone, I don't remember what that was, but it was during the scene where like they were talking to Dawn Robbins.
Holy Lodestone was when the magnet was activated.
Was it when the magnet was activated?
When they were trying to resist, but it was dragging them towards the wall.
Okay, because he says holy flypaper when they're stuck to the wall.
Yeah, it's like they're
like back to back.
quick.
Yeah, okay. So we got those. We got 6 onomatopoeias. I don't think any of them were new. We gave Penguin a 3. So right now he's ahead of the Riddler, but that's just because they haven't shown up more often yet. Their numbers will get a little bit more confusing. But at the end of the season, we'll like recap all of this stuff and have some pointless data for you guys. And we'll continue our quest to figure out who's the 66 Batman's greatest nemesis.
Yeah, I'm curious. Looks like the Penguin's gonna take it.
Well, so far we're only 2 stories in, even though we're 4 episodes deep. And like, hey, Joker's up next, and the next episode's called The Joker's Wild. So
yeah, we'll see how he does. I'm excited for the next episode.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this series. Like, I'm pumped. I know a couple of people have started listening to us. Obviously, rate, subscribe, share, tell people about things, give us comments and stuff. I should mention we have an email address now. It's batcast66@gmail.com. So you have questions, comments, or concerns for upcoming episodes, things we missed, maybe we'll address them. Do some housekeeping at the top of episodes. We'll do some Q&As. I know our friend Joe is watching the show along with our podcast, so I know he's excited for the next one that's about to hit to go live, and then he's watching the episode with that. So when we get to like an episode he's excited for, we'll bring him on. We'll probably have some more guests and stuff as we go, but I'm stoked to go through this with you and talk about this, I would say, underappreciated piece of Batman history with you every week.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Real excited for next time.
So I guess next time we'll see you. Same Batpod time, same Batpod channel, right?
Yeah, or whatever the heck we say at the end. I don't
know. We'll get more consistent with it.
Or we won't. Who cares?
Or we won't. And let us know if we should be more consistent with it.
Yeah, let us know what you want. I feel like this episode, is eating a bowl of ice cream. That's bad podcast etiquette, but I really wanted it. So,
but you know what? It also works out with the penguin. Like ice cream and penguins cold.
Yeah. Penguins fucking love ice cream.
This is what happens in Pengu, right? I've never seen it.
Sure, I don't even know what it is.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, y'all.
I'll see you guys later.